I guess I also will say, and I've been really fortunate that students sometimes have pointed away. And there were a couple of students who I taught as freshmen in stats, Matt Rafel and Mike Winter. They both graduated last year, and they kept on talking to me, why don't you start a course on El Salvador? And I looked at them and said, I don't know anything necessarily about economic development. And they said, why don't you do it? And so finally, I did it. And it's been a great course. I end up have alumni who support it. We take 9 students down there. And what we do is we go out and we visit places all over the place. The group that went last year, we actually had 2 visits where we had to have El Salvadorian police on the van with us. That was a different kind of ball game. But one of the things that this course has taught me is, all right, I've learned how I need to take risk. But one of the things that struck me about the poor, and last night there was a great talk with John Sabrino and Father Monin and a few other people talking about El Salvador and the poor. One of the things that all of us need to do for the poor is allow them to take a risk. And the irony is how we have to take a risk. The best thing we can give to the poor is allowing them to take a risk. Because when you are poor, you are worrying about where the next meal is coming from, and you are worried. And so things like microfinance and things like remittances and cash allowances, they allow the poor to take the risks, not to worry about where the next meal is coming from, to allow the next generation to get educated. To me, really, when we talk about economic development, where this course has been great for me, and this is where I really learned a lot. You know, all the economic growth models you learn in macro theory, they're useful. Please don't get me wrong. But boy, when you go down to a country like El Salvador, what you really see is these people really got to learn how to take a risk. I think when you fall in love, you take a risk, and the person you fall in love with takes a risk. And I think no matter what your relationship is, that's what it's all about. You know, and I think especially as a Jesuit, when I would say, when Ignatius takes take and receive, when we pray, it's very much taking the risk that God will be there at the same time that God will risk us. I mean, that God actually will trust us to do things, and it's a risk that way. But yeah, I think it's a mutual thing. I mean, taking the risk, yeah, I guess I can tap myself on the shoulder and I went down to El Salvador. At the same time, I also realized, well, they're taking a risk with me any day of the week. And so it's an interesting thing that way.